This is how it should be done. Lodge yourself on a stratum. Experiment with the opportunities it offers. Find an advantageous place on it. Find potential movements of deterritorialization, possible lines of flight. Experience them. Produce flow conjunctions here and there. Try out continuums of intensities, segment by segment. Have a small plot of new land at all times. In order for us to understand what Deleuze and Guattari mean, we must begin to see and perceive their conceptual framework, ontological and epistemological underpinnings, and truly begin to understand what Deleuze and Guattari were pushing us to think about existence and life. So let us dive in to a deeper exploration of the lexicon, verbiage, and linguistics that Deleuze and Guattari offer as a perceptual opening to understanding ourselves and the world. Deleuze and Guattari speak of planes of consistency, the plane of immanence, rhizomes, and lines, molar, rigid, molecular, supple, segmentarity, lines of flight, strata, stratification, assemblages, multiplicities, to territorialize and deterritorialize and reterritorialize. Let us begin to understand and move deeper into these concepts and what they can offer us for our own sight. Deleuze and Guattari define the plane of immanence, or the plane of consistency, as the vast and largely comprehensive ways we understand what is. The planes are all-encompassing. Nothing can exist outside of them. The plane of immanence constitutes the absolute ground of philosophy, its earth or deterritorialization, the foundation on which all concepts are created. The plane of image, of thought, is pre-philosophical, neither a concept nor the concept of all concepts. The plane is formless, unlimited, absolute, neither surface nor volume, but always fractal. Concepts are birthed, created, formed, exist, crumble, and die on the plane of immanence. Concepts are the waves, while the plane is the ocean. Deleuze and Guattari also begin to speak about the rhizome. The rhizome being a complex botanical metaphor for a non-hierarchical organizing structure based on a horizontal root that grows through the soil, sprouting new plants. The rhizome is an alternative to our standard tree-based structures or arborescent thought. A rhizome features radical asymmetry, random distribution, and interconnectedness, which means that it cannot be understood in terms of binary compositions. Consequently, it resists categorization and structural analysis. Deleuze and Guattari challenge our linear and arborescent tree-like conceptualizations that mainstream Western philosophy and metaphysics have always used, designing instead a schizo or rhizomatic free-form boundary-piercing model. Deleuze and Guattari write, "To be rhizomorphous is to produce stems and filaments that seem to be roots, or better yet connect with them by penetrating the trunk, but put them to strange new uses. We're tired of trees. We should stop believing in trees, roots, and radicals. They've made us suffer for too long and too much. All of our arborescent culture is founded upon them. From biology to linguistics, nothing is beautiful or loving or political aside from underground stems and aerial roots, adventitious growths and rhizomes. Rhizomes, rhizomes. All of tree logic is a logic of tracing and reproduction. The rhizome is altogether different. A map, not a tracing. Make a map, not a tracing. The orchid does not reproduce the tracing of the wasp. It forms a map with the wasp and a rhizome. What distinguishes the map from the tracing is that it is entirely oriented towards an experimentation in contact with the real. There are no points or positions in a rhizome, such as those found in a structure or a tree or a root. There are only lines. Deleuze and Guattari go on to discuss 3 types of lines in their work that all impact the entirety of life. The first two lines are lines of segmentarity and lines of subjectivity. Lines of segmentarity or control can either be supple or rigid. Supple segmentation is molecular, meaning that it can move in any direction. It holds potentiality, while rigid segmentation is molar, stuck, stagnant. Rigid segmentation is clear-cut and binary, a series of exclusive disjunctions, either this or that, with no in-between. Supple segmentation, on the other hand, is looser, more flexible, and maintains this molecular capacity. Supple segmentation allows lines to bifurcate freely and develop in new directions, and from all directions without being tied to a centrality. The more molecular or flexible the line is, the more it is open to change. While the molar or rigid line creates binary distinctions, and the supple line creates codes and territories, there's a third type of line that Deleuze and Guattari refer to as the line of flight, which deterritorializes and decodes. All of society and culture can be mapped according to these lines. Both macro and micro politics can be dissected according to Deleuze and Guattari's lines. Deleuze and Guattari were interested in the notion of process and flux, examining the potentiality and manifestation of concepts rather than merely defining them. How can we begin to look at concepts, see how they move, flow, flux, and inform and create our existence, our thought, our ecology of mind, and our psyches?